Ukraine needs any edge it can get to repel Russia from its territory. One emerging bright spot is its small but fast-growing defense industry, which the government is flooding with money in hopes that a surge of homemade weapons and ammunition can help turn the tide. The effort ramped up sharply over the past year as the U.S. and Europe strained to deliver weapons and other aid to Ukraine, which is up against a much bigger Russian military, backed by a thriving domestic defense industry. The Ukrainian government budgeted nearly $1.4 billion in 2024 to buy and develop weapons at home, 20 times more than before Russia's full-scale invasion. And in another major shift, a huge portion of weapons are now being bought from privately owned factories. They are sprouting up across the country and rapidly taking over an industry that had been dominated by state-owned companies. A privately owned mortar factory that launched in western Ukraine last year is making roughly 20,000 shells a month. "I feel that we are bringing our country closer to victory," said Anatoly Kuzmin, the factory's 64-year-old owner, who used to make farm equipment and fled his home in southern Ukraine after Russia invaded in 2022. Yet, like many aspects of Ukraine's war apparatus, its defense sector has been constrained by a lack of money and manpower, and according to executives and generals, too much government red tape. A more robust private sector could help root out inefficiencies and enable factories to churn out weapons and ammunition even faster.
Russia controls nearly a quarter of Ukraine and has gained momentum along the 1,000-kilometer front line by showing a willingness to expend large numbers of troops to make even the smallest of advances. Ukrainian troops regularly find themselves outmanned and outgunned, and this has contributed to falling morale.
Today, about 80% of the defense industry is in private hands, a mirror image of where things stood a year ago, and a stark contrast with Russia's state-controlled defense industry. Each newly made projectile is wrapped in craft paper and carefully packed into wooden crates to be shipped to Romania or Bulgaria, where they are loaded with explosives. Ukraine's surge in military spending has occurred against a backdrop of $60 billion in U.S. aid being held up by Congress, and with European countries struggling to deliver enough ammunition. Russia is also pumping more money into its defense industry, whose growth has helped buffer its economy from the full brunt of Western sanctions. Compared with last year, Ukraine's output of mortar shells is about 40 times higher, and its production of ammunition for artillery has nearly tripled, said Oleksandr Kamyshin, Ukraine's Minister of Strategic Industries.